All right. So, hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this recording for the wholesale guide. And we're going to talk about starting, scaling, and automating your dropshipping program. Let me jump in and share my screen real quick. And I want to first off, obviously apologize for the inconvenience and wasted time that happened this afternoon. Ran into a bit of a Wi-Fi issue. There's been a lot going on right now. The storms across the country, and really we want to apologize, and we want to add in a couple nuggets just for the people that ended up, not being able to tune in and hearing a lot of stuff I was talking about. We actually added in 3 of the most common failures that we see when people start the dropshipping program. So we went ahead and added that into the webinar. So just a couple of new nuggets that I think a lot of people are going to benefit from. So again, this webinar recording again for you guys. Again, apologies for what happened for the live stream, but obviously the recording is going to be the best bet. And this is the wholesale guide: start, scale, and automate your dropshipping program. So this is going to be catered around the B2B wholesaler or supplier or brand that sells to other businesses. So that's the whole premise around this webinar. And we get this question all the time, and there's really not a lot of content out there for it. So pretty excited about this. And let's go ahead and jump in. My name is Austin Rose. I'm head of business development here at Flxpoint and Inventory Source. We're going to mainly talk about Flxpoint for the most part in this webinar. We are going to talk a little bit about Inventory Source as well. We just chat a little bit about US Direct, our third company. But let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so the webinar agenda, we're going to first talk about what a dropshipping program is. Going to stick on that for like 2 seconds. I know a lot of you guys already know what that is and what the fulfillment model looks like. We're talking about getting started. So a lot of the key tips that you need to keep in mind and go through checklists of starting your dropshipping program. And again, we added in this 3 most common failures that we see when people start their dropshipping program. We're going to then talk about scaling efficiently and effectively. So we've already started. Now let's start scaling the program. And then lastly, fully automating your program, your dropshipping with your resellers. Obviously, we're in data automation, so we have a lot of expertise on that topic. We're going to then bring it all together and talk about how Flxpoint and Inventory Source can help you. So we're going to first visualize and show you a quick little graph about the wholesale to resell connection. We're going to go into a demo real quick, and then we're going to talk about our value, and then end it there. And then obviously, if you're going to have any questions, feel free to shoot us back an email or a note. My contact information will be at the end, as well as the company contact information, and then we'll go from there. All right, so dropshipping program. Pretty easy, right? We're talking about a wholesaler here on the left-hand side. I'm a wholesaler. I either buy in bulk and have, a whole bunch of different brands that I resell to other businesses. I'm kind of the third-party logistics, guru or expert. That's what, I'm in business for. Or maybe I'm a brand and I'm a manufacturer and I actually manufacture my own products, or I have a company that manufactures my products. And I want to start providing a dropshipping program to a bunch of resellers online that want to resell my product. So dropship fulfillment, really easy. We got people online selling products. Consumers come into their websites or marketplace, buy the product. The reseller that is reselling that product here in the middle will then place the order with my wholesaler, or you as the wholesaler, place an order with myself as the wholesaler, and then I will take that product, wrap it up, package it up individually, and send it to the consumer's end address. So again, the dropship reseller never sees the products. They pretty much just act as the middleman for selling the products. And this is how the dropship model is. And one key thing is dropshipping isn't a business model. It's a fulfillment model. So this is exactly how the fulfillment model works. All right, so let's jump in and let's start with getting started. So getting started and just starting dropshipping program. We see a lot of huge businesses that have been doing, bulk, traditional retail fulfillment, and they want to get started dropshipping. This is the future of people selling online. Less and less owned inventory and utilizing technology to connect other suppliers of products, brands of products to my sales networks. So what do we got to do to get started to start a dropship program? Number one, you gotta have the ability to fulfill individual orders. So you might be, used to just doing bulk freight. to, warehouses or brick and mortar stores, buying 100 units plus minimum order quantities, right? You have to buy 100 or more. A lot of people are used to that, and that's traditional retail. But again, the online shift is happening where people want to start drop shipping. It's not just the guru side hustle expert. I drive Maserati and I, show quick video of reselling one product all the time. We're talking about a legit fulfillment model for legit businesses. So me as the wholesaler that wants to start drop shipping for other businesses, I got to make sure I can send individual orders. So that means I got to have the right packaging, right? If I'm selling in pallets, obviously you ship on pallets, but packaging an individual product, we need to make sure we have all the packaging, the boxes, the envelope, the bubble wrap, like whatever you need to ship out individual orders. This then goes into account of carrier accounts. So a lot of wholesalers out there need to identify, do I want to ship off of my own carrier account or do I want to ship off of my reseller's carrier account? There's a lot of pros and cons to each. You kind of have a little bit of control shipping off of your own, but a lot of resellers out there have really good rates off of their own accounts. So identifying, which way you want to go. A lot of suppliers and wholesalers nowadays can have both or do either. They have the platforms in place to do that. So one big topic, and the last thing is how are you going to charge shipping? Shipping is very reactional when it comes to drop ship. So I've got a retailer selling online. They end up getting an order from their consumer. They charge the shipping cost themselves or free shipping. But once I send it over to supplier, honestly, I have no idea what it's going to cost me because it's all reactional. It's going to, the other side of the country or anything like that. So shipping cost is one of the hardest things to figure out in a drop shipping model. Either shipping off their carrier accounts is a good approach. Flat rate shipping is huge for dropship resellers. It's the reason why a lot of people use US Direct is they like that flat rate model. So another thing to kind of keep in mind when it comes to shipping. Second point, big point, white label generation. You don't want to print a shipping label, put it on a box, send it, and your branding is on that shipping label. They want to think it's coming from that dropship reseller that you're dropshipping in behalf of. So when it comes to this, a lot of people just do a genetic white label. It says distribution center and just has an address, and the people get the box, they open it up, and they know it came from that retailer. That's perfectly fine. It's a great way to get started. A lot of printing label generation platforms out there. ShipStation's a big one, Shipping Easy, Ship Hero, and anything ship in front of it. Flexpoint's actually coming out with a lot of really cool things in regards to generating shipping labels. What we've seen is a great way to start kind of a blank shipping label that you post on the package, but a lot of people are able to download and print my retailer's logo on the shipping label. So they think it's coming from the retailer and the branding's on there. So another thing to keep in mind. Number 3, having a system in place to onboard dealers or resellers, right? So I'm the wholesaler and I've got these resellers wanting to resell my products. I got to have stuff in place to manage these resellers. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Data product feed generation. So being able to take my data, images, titles, descriptions, inventory levels, pricing structures, things like that, and providing that in a very neat and automated way to my reseller so they can ensure that they're selling in-stock products and they can create really good looking listings on their websites and marketplaces. So a very important thing to have in place. Number 5 is an ordering system for your resellers. So this is very important in the sense of resellers want to, usually they can manually place orders with you. A lot of times they want to automate that process. We've seen people start with just emailing and phone calls, just kind of old school style. But then, people are leveraging websites like Shopify and BigCommerce and Magento. Flexpoint does a really great job at providing a reseller portal for them to log into, see their orders and place orders. There's other systems out there that provide that as well. So having a system in place for orders. Number 6 is the payment processing and invoicing. So what processors are you going to use? What payment companies you're going to use to process payments? Also, are you doing net terms, right? Net 30, net 15, net 60? Are you doing credit card on file, charging it right at the time an order comes into your system? Whole bunch of different approaches you can take. A lot of times the dropship reseller, they want invoices as well. So they can either reconcile their books or find profit, see the margins that they're making on these orders that they're pushing over to you. So very important to keep in mind. Number 7, an important one, a lot of people don't think about this, is returns and refunds are a lot bigger when you're doing individual orders, especially if the volume's high. UPS and FedEx, USPS, sometimes aren't the best, right? Package comes in destroyed, they need to return it, or items destroyed, need to return it. You need to work with your reseller to figure out that return and refund process. A lot of companies out there, gets sent back to the dropship reseller. Dropship reseller will then send it back to the supplier or wholesaler. And a lot of wholesalers out there provide free refunds or free returns, and will do a full refund as well. Just doesn't even depend on the product. There's a whole bunch of different approaches you can take. And again, a very important thing to keep in mind. So having said that, let's jump into those 3 most common failures that we see when it comes to starting a dropshipping program. Number 1 is starting a program before you've ever shipped out anything individually. Because when you start it, you turn it on, people will start sending you orders. There's people out there that really move products quick. And if you've never sent out an individual order, your team or you or whoever is manning the warehouse, the brick and mortar that you're sending individual orders out of, will have a heck of a headache if they've never done it. So getting the toes wet, the feet wet, whatever you want to call it, to first send out individual orders for, let's say a month, 2 months, 3 months is a great approach. People don't do that. And then they'll just jump in, turn it on. And next thing you know, they don't know what they're doing. So a very important thing and something that we see. Number 2 is another one that we've seen a lot, and this is not being able to provide accurate inventory for your resellers when you first start. Now, if you have a lot of resellers reselling, they're selling from what we call like a pooled inventory, right? It's your inventory, and all of these dealers and resellers are selling all over these different channels, right? And who knows who's doing a lot of volume and who's not, right? The inventory levels need to be reflected from your systems over to those resellers, because next thing you know, you might be out of stock and they think it's in stock and they're still sending you orders, and that's gonna be a big problem. So a huge failure that we've seen in the past, still see to this day. Number 3, and another very big one, is not having an onboarding process in place for approval, denial, and just communication with your resellers. So you could just be getting, we've seen 5 to 10 to hundreds of resellers just signing up for dropship programs, trying to get more products added, trying to sell more products, trying to make more money. And these wholesalers don't know how to just approve them. They don't know what information to give to them. They don't know what a feed is, just not being able to have a process in place. I highly suggest having something in place before you just start taking on more people to resell your products. Huge one. All 3 of these are big, and we still see to this day. So again, keep this in mind. I'm then going to jump into the 4 things that you need to keep in mind and that you need to hone in on. And it kind of goes hand in hand with the last slide of starting your dropship program. So reseller and retail management, having a place to take in resellers. So applications, right? Gravity Forms, Google Forms. A lot of people do Google spreadsheet stuff. Flxpoint does a really good job of auto approving resellers, and take, or maybe not, maybe be more hands-on, just quick click of approve, deny. Having a management for that is very much a key thing to have, so we can stay organized with all the people and businesses that are reselling your products. Number 2 is the pricing strategy. So you might be selling direct to consumer. Well, what does that mean you're going to provide from a pricing perspective for resellers now they're going to resell? Because they're not going to want to sell, or they're not going to want to pay your direct to consumer price. They're not going to make any margin. That's no margin. So identifying what your wholesale price is going to be. And if you are only doing wholesale, how are you going to charge for drop shipping? A lot of people do a drop ship fee or bump that wholesale cost up a little bit because they're not doing a minimum order quantity, right? It's just one-off orders and packages. So another thing to keep in mind when it comes to the pricing strategy. 3rd thing is having a payment processor in place, and identifying how you want to take on payments. In an automated world, usually net terms is the best, unless you have a platform in place to put a credit card on file and automatically bill that credit card on file. We see people manually charging credit cards all throughout the day. It's one person's job. And there are platforms in place that automate this whole process, and it's kind of mind blowing. Flexpoint does a great job at this. So that whole automated versus manual, net terms versus credit card on file, ACH, things like that for payment processing. Another thing you need to keep in mind. And the last thing here is product data. People want to sell your products online. They want to have good data, images, titles, descriptions, attributes, pricing, automated inventory. Having a centralized spot, having a marketing team, having anything in place to provide really good, rich content for your resellers will really set you apart from a lot of wholesalers out there. There's a lot of wholesalers that do not provide good data, and resellers just churn out because they just can't get up-to-date inventory levels and good data, and it's a terrible buying experience for their consumers. So huge thing to keep in mind. Now that we've laid this foundation for getting started on your drop shipping program, let's now talk about scaling it. So huge thing here that we see and you want to make sure to kind of keep in mind is the high volume of reseller applications. So once you've got a good foundation, you got products that are really good, people want to sell those products, being able to kind of automate this like approval, denial, reseller applications, you might want to have an employee in place for that and for the communication for those customers. Having support, like a team or outsourced team, in-house team, whatever it is to support these resellers, provide marketing materials, provide discounts, monthly discounts, quarterly discounts, just talking with them, teaching them how to sell your products is huge. We see so many resellers get approved for dropshipping programs with wholesalers, and wholesalers never say a word to them, and they just end up not selling their products. So huge thing to kind of keep in mind. The second thing kind of goes hand in hand with that, and that's the marketing side. So getting that high volume of resellers. Directories, big thing to get on board to really start scaling. Inventory sources for free. We actually get suppliers on inventory source for free to be listed. There's SaleWho, there's Worldwide Brands, Top 10 Wholesale, like all these different spots that you can get on as a wholesaler in the directory, so more retailers can find you and resell your products. There's not really any trade shows going on right now. So really going online, getting on these directories and marketing as well is a huge thing for networking and getting more resellers. So this goes hand in hand with number 3. That's having a wholesale site or a page on your website that talks about wholesaling, and having a portal in place as well for those resellers to log in, see the orders that they placed with you, maybe download that file feed, just having a place for your wholesale businesses. And this is huge because people need information. They need to know about your shipping policies. They need to know about minimum advertising price. They need to know about, discounts that they can get for a certain amount of, monthly order volume, a whole bunch of different things that you should have in place for a wholesale site and a portal for your resellers. And this fourth one here is the next generation of product pricing and product catalog. So first we figured out how to set everything up and how to give a wholesale price. Well, now you're going to have this segment of really good retailers, really bad retailers, high volume retailers, low volume retailers, who gets access to, a subset of my product catalog, who gets access to all my products, who gets access to wholesale costs or wholesale costs minus 10%, wholesale costs minus 20%. It's just setting up all these different groups for your different resellers to really, help out the high volume guys and the low volume guys with minimum support. Just identifying, who gets access to certain brands, access to certain pricing discounts. Very important thing to keep in mind when you want to start scaling. Now that we've scaled, let's now talk about automating. So number 1's a huge one. A lot of resellers out there and retailers that are online, they've got their stuff together and they want to automate as much as possible. There's a lot of customers that we talk to on a daily basis that are just manually emailing orders throughout the day. They're getting hundreds of orders in, and they've got dedicated people just emailing purchase orders. It's crazy because there's so many platforms like Flxpoint out there that can automate this process. And then taking in those orders, though, in an automated fashion is huge for the wholesaler. So that's either direct integrations with your retailers, being able to ingest a file, bring in an automated email, accepting orders over an API. Maybe you're, still in the archaic, zone and using EDI, being able to have a standard of EDI connections, a whole bunch of different ways that you can, take this approach and make sure that you have ways of accepting automated orders. Flxpoint does a great job of accepting automated orders via a portal, inventory source, an API, a bunch of different ways that we can do it. So this is the number one thing to kind of keep in mind for wanting to automate the processes. Number two is getting that feed generation file to your resellers. And this could be a file. It's usually a file. It's usually an FTP with a file or an HTTP link to a file. But for a lot of the big guys, they want to integrate to an API. So having an API available for those retailers to connect to you, Flxpoint has an open API for their retailers to connect to a Flxpoint user. So very important there. And what's really cool is Flxpoint does have EDI standards. And there's a lot of people out there that want to do EDI still, and we can help out from that approach. So number two, very important, just like number three here. And this is a dropship. I say reseller dropshipping app, but it's really encompasses having something in place to help your resellers automate their processes. So we're not talking about like us having stuff in place to automate our own processes as a wholesaler, but my retailer, I want to put something in their hands and say, hey, we work with this company or we do this for you to automate your processes. So huge things like inventory source. If I'm a Flxpoint, if I'm a wholesaler and I'm on Flxpoint, running my dropship program, I can get integrated into inventory source for free as a supplier. And then all of my retailers can go buy integrations through inventory source to connect me to their Magento site, their Amazon account, their Shopify site, their Walmart account, a whole bunch of integrations there. So having that reseller dropshipping app, we actually see some suppliers out there and wholesalers that actually have their own proprietary apps, within Shopify or Wix or wherever that a lot of their retailers are selling. And number four is an integration with your warehouse management system and order management system that you have in place. So, Flxpoint integrates with ShipStation and Shipping Easy, Ship Hero, SKU Vault, Finale Inventory, whole bunch of different platforms out there that people utilize for inventory management and order management, printing shipping labels, barcode scanning, things like that, things you need in place for fully automating your processes and moving products. So huge thing is making sure the connection's there. So this is fully automating in some very important notes. I'm going to talk about the connection and kind of visualize this for you guys. So this is me as the wholesaler or the brand connecting to my dropship resellers here on the right-hand side. So here on the left, I'm hooked into Flxpoint. I have a reseller portal. I'm able to provide my product data and inventory via the Flxpoint API, or I can provide it to my dropship reseller through a generated feed file. So it's an http.csv file to all of the products that they have access to, that I've given them access to. And then lastly, which again is going to automate the dropship resellers processes themselves, is through inventory source and the integration that they bought. So three very, seamless ways for anybody to get integrated to me as a wholesaler on Flxpoint. And then besides being integrated for product data and inventory, we'll talk about the orders and tracking part. We can go through a manual checkout process on the reseller portal. If I'm on Flxpoint, Flxpoint has like a subdomain reseller portal. They can also integrate via the Flxpoint API for sending in orders, getting back shipment tracking. And the same goes for inventory source. They're hooked in for full automation through inventory source. They can automate orders through us, and then we can send back shipment tracking back to them. So again, three very important, almost kind of puts everybody in the same box of all these different ways of connecting. And it's a great, option for everybody, because a lot of big guys, they're not going to want to use inventory source. They're going to integrate to your API. A lot of small people, they don't want to buy inventory source. It's too expensive for them. It's only $99 a month, but people want to get started small. They'll just go take that feed file and download it and then do a manual checkout through the reseller portal. So kind of a great way of visualizing this. Over here on the left-hand side would be like your connection of your warehouse management system, order management system into Flxpoint. But just wanted to talk about this connection real quick. And I'm actually going to jump out and let's go into Flxpoint. All right, so let's go into a quick demo. So I'm here in the home screen dashboard for Flxpoint, app.flxpoint.com. I'm on a demo account right now. So what I was going to do is I was going to connect my warehouse management system into Flxpoint. I would do that here in the source section. I would set up a new source and connect in, for instance, down here, like my SKU Vault warehouse management system, just do some admin stuff here. And once I connect, I can then push in all my products in my inventory throughout the day automatically on a custom syncing schedule into my product section, which I can then list to my channels. What I mean by channels is it's twofold. The first one being Flexpoint does help out with a lot of B2C side. So, your Amazon account, your Walmart account, right? You guys are selling direct to consumer. You can connect that into Flexpoint. Now, the secondary part is reseller channels. So that's specific channels hooked into that reseller portal that I was talking to you about. And that's what we'll hit on mostly here. But here's the product section, and I can go in and create those listings and push to these channels. Again, sales channels is my B2C channels. Reseller channels is my B2B channels. So these are different groups and channels that I can set up for my different dealers and my different resellers. So maybe I have a default reseller group for everybody. I have a tier 2 for my top guys. I have tier 3 for my top guys, right? They get better pricing. They get better access to different products. Bunch of different ways that we can do this. And you can set up different settings per channel. So how we invoice, how we set up pricing, I want to do a quick example where an order gets imported for this channel. I want to put that order on hold because it's over $500. And that's kind of like a fishy order to me. This if then, we call this a workflow engine. This if then statements are actually spread across a whole bunch of different functionalities in Flexpoint. So you can get really granular and specific with use cases that you run into every day. So within this channel are a handful of dealers that are or resellers that are set up. So I'm going to go out of this channel and I can go and view my resellers here, or I can just go to the tab here. And these are resellers that went through my subdomain, my reseller portal, and signed up with me. I can come in, approve them, deny them, mark them as pending. I can export, all the dealers, put them in my CRM, put them in, email campaigns, things like that. They turn active when they actually place orders with you. I can come into here. I can, look at all the details. I can see the API token for this dealer. I can see their orders. I can see how to, I'm going to capture payment for them. You can set up more workflows for capturing payment for individual dealers too. So you can go all the way down to the dealer level. Same with like sending invoices over to them. Whenever orders come in, they do come into this order section with this like your holistic order section. And we can do some cool routing of where and how we route orders. But again, let's stick with the reseller side and the B2B side. So I'm going to go to this reseller. Let's go to Matt here. I'm going to log in as the reseller. So this is going to take me to that domain that I've set up for my reseller portal. So I'm going to log in and I'm going to jump back into here. And I'm going to go to my reseller settings real quick. So I'm going to go to resellers, hit there on the settings. Let's go to the basic settings. So you can see my reseller portal here, nicefinds.flexpoint.com. So this is my reseller portal, and I can set up a bunch of different things for my reseller program, details, contact information, requesting a website upon sign up, requesting billing address details, requesting a tax ID, requesting a resale certificate, bunch of different things I can set up here in the settings section. And I can even set up workflows based off how people sign up with me. But let's go into the portal. So I logged in as Matt here in this portal. Again, you can see all the information, just kind of like my main dashboard. I can go in and look at the orders that my resellers have placed with me. Or actually, sorry, this is a portal. So me as the reseller, I can see my orders that I placed with my supplier who's on Flexpoint. This is, again, my login to my portal, which is like a Flexpoint portal, Flexpoint account for the wholesaler that's actually the user of Flexpoint. But I can come in, I can see the orders I placed with my wholesaler. I can see the products that are offered to me. These are specific to what's that dealer channel and offered to the specific dealer or reseller. I can download a product feed. I can go through a checkout process, whole bunch of different things. I can go to the settings, grab my API token. I can upload a resale certificate. I don't have it enabled here, but I can actually add in my credit card on file here in the settings section as well. And then let me log out real quick and just show you. I can log in, or let's say I'm a new dealer, I can come in and sign up and give you all my information as well. So a bunch of different things you can do with this reseller portal. All right, so let me jump back out of here and let's go into, so we went over the channel section, right, for our dealer channels or our reseller channels. We talked about the resellers in here where you can onboard resellers automatically. There was a section in there where I can auto approve resellers, so I don't have someone in there manually approving everybody that comes in throughout the day. The big thing here is onboarding resellers, bringing in reseller orders, having reseller channels set up, all of this cool, functionality, but providing that this automation to my resellers is then kind of the inventory source realm. So let's jump into inventory source real quick. So once you're integrated into inventory source, we're going to integrate your Flxpoint account into inventory source as a supplier. So your reseller can go in and buy an integration. And it's pretty much they're just buying an integration from your Flxpoint account into their, let's say Shopify channel. Well, you'll be here in the supplier directory. You'd be under integrated suppliers and all suppliers. You'll actually rank higher in the supplier directory being integrated as well. So that's another big caveat. Let me go ahead and jump in. We can display your products in the supplier directory as well. And again, people can go in and add an integration, go to their integration tab here on the left and start building their catalog to their sales channel. What's really cool about all this is inventory source is kind of like a free add-on for our Flxpoint users that are running their dropship program off of Flxpoint. And they're now getting a marketing aspect for free. You're listed for free. You're integrated for free. You have your product data on here. Because you're integrated, you're then verified. So you have these two little trust badges up here. You're also ranking at the top of the list for any category that you're in as well. So maybe you're in apparel and fashion. There's 800 in here. You'll be ranked at the top. So really cool kind of approach of getting marketing side of things. Once you're integrated, you're included on our newsletter, our social posts that we do monthly. So a whole bunch of marketing aspects that kind of come into play when you're on Flxpoint as a user to run your dropship program, and then you're in inventory source to provide automation for your resellers and take advantage of our network. We get 250 signups a day. We get over 10,000 people weekly to our website. We rank the highest in anything that you search for dropship, keyword dropshipping, things like that. So you get a lot of marketing that comes into play coming on as a Flex user as well. So let's go back to the presentation. And I'm going to hit on one more slide. And this is going to be really important. So this is the value that we bring into play when you come on as a Flxpoint user to run your dropshipping program. So here on the left is our online retailer value. So this is when I'm selling direct to consumer. This is the value that I get as a retailer selling online. But I really want to talk about these right-hand values for you as the wholesaler in the brand. So number one, you're integrated on inventory source. So you're at no cost. You're in the directory and you're given this massive exposure to all these resellers that get signed up with us daily. So huge thing to get into that for your marketing perspective and growing your dropshipping program. More resellers means moving more product. US Direct. Didn't really hit on US Direct much. It's a sister company of ours. A lot of wholesalers that don't want to take on the headache of approving all these resellers and getting resellers through the door, and they end up not moving products, things like that. They like to get on US Direct. And if anybody comes in, they say, hey, we want to drop ship your products. You say, that's great. We only approve, certain retailers use us directly, but since you're not, quite doing the volume we want, or you don't have a brick and mortar store, go use our partner US Direct. They have our products in there. You can go buy an integration and get access and start selling through US Direct. And we take on the headache of the technology, the support, the sales. You just have to ship the products. So US Direct is another kind of caveat or value that you can possibly access as well. And then Flxpoint, right? Automating your processes, being integrated into inventory source and possibly US Direct. And you're really streamlining, optimizing, automating your whole drop shipping program right out of the gate. And you have everything set up for you. So really you're getting a full suite of value when it comes to a drop shipping program with Flxpoint, automating your processes, inventory source, the exposure, the marketing, the automation for your resellers, and then US Direct, another value add to, any program or any reseller you want to have selling your products, and just, again, tapping into another big network of B2B resellers and dropshipping resellers. So this is our value, with all three of our different companies. Again, Flxpoint's huge to really jumpstart your dropshipping program. You can get on Flexpoint and get started. Once you start scaling, it's massive for you. We have people, fully immersed in Flexpoint, whether it's just selling B2C, whether it's just selling B2B. We're actually seeing people do both. They're doing B2C and B2B. They're reselling drop shippers products, but they're also, providing their own manufactured products to their dropship resellers. So it's kind of a mixed model approach, all within Flexpoint. And then you get a lot of the added value with inventory source in US Direct. So that's everything today. That was the webinar. Again, I apologize for us going live and the Wi-Fi totally killing us. But wanted to get the recording out to you guys. I hope you guys enjoy this, learned a lot. Have any questions? Shoot us a note, info@flexpoint.com. There's no E in the flex, it's just FLX, POINT.com. We will be able to respond to you very quickly through the info ad. Really a big thing is just go to Flexpoint and request a demo from us. We've got a full staff here and be more than happy to get on discovery calls, demos, just email threads. We have live chat on the website as well. So any way you can get in contact with us, we'd love to talk to you. Again, I'm Austin. I'm head of business development here. My contact information is below as well if you want to contact me directly. Super stoked to show this to you guys. I hope you guys found a lot of value out of this webinar and recording. Any questions, reach out to us. We're happy to help you. Thanks for joining. Have a good day.